And we're live, Alex.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Beat. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Alex. I'm very well. It's a little bit less hot this week, so actually good for a change.
It makes things better. So, Beat, you wrote a very interesting newsletter, something that is quite, I would say, quite profound and quite powerful. Guys, if you haven't read it, we publish newsletters twice a week. Beat writes one, I write one. We just published a great one. Beat wrote a great one last week. Go on beyondentrepreneurs.com last night, sorry. So Beat, you wrote a great newsletter talking about something very, very profound that I think most people miss because they just aren't paying attention. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, Alex, about a year ago, it was October from 2019. We had some small news coming out of the United States, mainly that the repo banking system was having liquidity problems. That the Fed had to overnight bail the system out for billions and billions of dollars just for one night. And it kind of got lost, but then it got another hiccup and another hiccup and another hiccup. And if you were paying attention to the phenomenon, you saw something was really going wrong there, because the repo market is actually the market that provides the banks with enough liquidity to handle all their transactions. So if I wire to you, the money isn't physically, of course, taken from my account, my headquarter of the bank, to your headquarter to the headquarter of your bank. It's of course wired, but they need liquidity in order to do so. And therefore they need liquidity, and depending on how much liquidity they have, they can perform your transactions. Mm-hmm. And well, they ran out of it a few years ago, so there was a liquidity shortage, and they had to, the Fed had to step in back then in order to provide more liquidity to mm-hmm. banks, so additional loans to banks. But this is like the first sign that banks are actually on the brink of insolvency. Yeah. And I wrote in the newsletter this morning that the whole pandemic, at least to my perspective, I'm not going to go into calling it, let's say, something like conspiracy, but still something is fishy. It all of a sudden it came out, and the measurements that were taken towards the economy were, at least in my perspective, well beyond what should have been the case. So they shut down the whole world economy. Everybody was focused on the corona stuff, and all eyes were turned to the COVID-19 problems. And I believe I believe that there was something more than just the coronavirus. Although the pain, and I also wrote it in the newsletter, although the pain is very real for a lot of people, and there are people fighting for their lives, and of course we hope and we wish them well. But the thing is that this was also the perfect situations for central banks to start what I call the race to the base. And what we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years is that economies and countries have a problem going to an open war, because we're so interdependent. If the US and China go to war, we've seen what the corona crisis did when they shut down. We had a lot of problems in just getting everything we need, even like daily things like food and stuff. So the world has become very interdependent. And therefore, an open war is very difficult, actually, because you're hurting yourself much more than you would have expected and than you would have done 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, when all nations kind of were self-sufficient and self-sustaining, so they could go to war, the best one would win. But now, if you're attacking someone who's actually providing a lot of the things that are flowing into your country, providing for the daily things for your people, you're actually hurting yourself. So what we see is we've seen a shift towards an economic war. we've seen, and everybody has seen, the US and China mainly. That's the main. Those are the two main players, of course, in the on the playing field. We've seen them doing sanctions one to another, and then I do some more, and then we do some more. And what we've seen now is that it's slowly shifting into a currency war, and that's why I say the race to debase. It's an interesting topic. We can talk a lot about it. It's by debasing your currency, by flooding the currency, the world with your currency. You're actually devaluating your currency. That's logical. You're creating more of it, so the amounts of goods and services remain more or less the same, or even declining for the moment. But you're creating a whole bunch of additional currency, so the value of the currency is lowering. You're inflating the currency, but for now we don't feel it yet. So, but this is going to be, let's say, a game of the strongest one, and the strongest one will be like the last man standing. That's the game. And the question is, who's going to be the last man standing? And I didn't go into that far. I have a vision, or let's say we have a vision on who will be the last man standing and how you should react and how you should prepare as an investor, as someone who's trying to build up his or her life with assets, with a house, with a family, with a financial future for them as well. And what we see is if you're going to go into this game, we're going to have a lot of losers. We're going to have a lot of people, because once the economy starts flowing again, all this currency, this vast amount of currency is going to flood into the market, because now it's somewhere accumulating, and it's mainly the stock market, of course. We've seen the stock market rise significantly over the last 50 days. And that is because of all the new liquidity that is flowing into this. It's logical. It's the first thing it flows into. And once this starts moving away from the stock market into the real economy, well, or let's say the day-to-day activity economy, we will see we will see rising inflation and a loss of buying power with the people. Mm-hmm. And not only with the people, but especially between nations. So this is actually going to be a war of debasing your currency, hoping that the other one will debase, or not debase in actual numbers, but will be less strong than you. And therefore, your buying power could remain more or less equal, while the other one will go down. And that is like a very, very difficult and high-stake game they're playing right now. And I expect to see a lot of suffering, actually. A lot of families will see their buying power even going to be cut in half, I think. Some regions, thinking like... probably some will remain standing, but I think the Eurozone will be hit. I think, well, maybe we can, it's a long talk. Maybe.
Yeah. It is quite an extensive topic, guys, and this is really, really important to all of you listening here. There's a lot going on that you might not be aware of, and it's totally normal because maybe you're not paying attention to the right things, which is, again, totally normal because your attention is right now where it's supposed to be for your business, for your life, with your family. But there are things that we want to help you understand better, and maybe this is a great topic that we can take for our Friday.
So we can take a little bit more time, but I just wanted to end today then. So let us talk on Friday more in depth about it, Alex, and maybe let's also see how you look at it from an investing point. But I see a tremendous opportunity as well for people that are saying, okay, but what if this is all true? What if half of it even is true? How can I prepare? Because there is a way, we see definitely clear ways that you can act on. And we will talk a lot about it. We'll try to help as many people as we can to do what we are doing actually today. I think gold is going to hit 1800 in just a few weeks now, by the way. To give you just one example of the things we're doing, 1800 was its all-time high at 2011 somewhere. We're just reaching it in, I guess, a few weeks or maybe even a few months, and no one is actually paying attention because all the attention is on the Corona crisis. But there are so many things you can do, and the smart listener is already picking up some signals here. But we will talk extensively because it's something that is going to affect all of our lives without exception.
Yeah. Again, guys, we really encourage you to show up. We're going to talk more about this, what exactly you can do about it, what exactly this really means for you, and what's actually happening. We'll talk more about it on Friday at 2 p.m. Central European time, so Amsterdam, Paris, Brussels, this time zone. We'll be there. I think this is a great topic, Vida. Maybe we can make that the entire the conversation for Friday, really helping everybody who's here, who's listening to us, understand what this means for you and what you can do about it, and to make sure that you can prosper and thrive and not suffer from this. So maybe we can leave that there for now, but I think, again, this is a great topic. This is so important, guys. So show up on Friday. We'll come on live on Facebook. Yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll be there as well. And you can interact with us and ask any questions you have. If you have any questions before then, just send them to us in the comments here. Send us an email. Go get our newsletter at beyondentrepreneurs.com and write back any questions you have, because we talk more about this. And then we'll see you guys on Friday at 2 o'clock.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, please send them in so we can try to answer them as well.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay, Alex.
I appreciate it.
Be well.